So we're going to do 3.3. This is going to be the product rule and quotient rule. So let me write down the title here. See, I bought new pens today and see if they work. So far, so good. Is lighting okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it as is then. If it is. This is with extra lighting.
And that's glary.
Much.
That's a bit dark. That's nice. I think.
Well,
Now you're casting a shadow over it.
yeah, basically when I move around, I'm covering that light. So I'll have to use this here. I think that'd be best.
Yeah, yeah. We can actually. I can. Looks like I could read the whole page.
So first, let me give you the product rule and the quotient rule. It's my favorite. Okay, so first one, number one, product rule. So let's call the function, let's assume that f and g are both differentiable. So let's just do it for you. So actually, I'll write that before we start. That way it'll be easier. Suppose f and g are differentiable on their domains. And g is not equal to 0. So those are my requirements. So for the product rule, if you have two functions multiplied together, so suppose y is equal to f of x times g of x, and I want to take the derivative, for example, y prime or dy dx, same thing, right? We've been talking about that. Y prime would be equal to the derivative of the first function times g plus the first function times the derivative of the second function. Okay, it's always going to be this way. So if you have two functions that are multiplied together, like for example, x times ex, we'll have to use this formula. Okay. Now quotient is when you have division of two functions. Okay, so quotient rule, let's say y is equal to f of x over g of x. The derivative will be the following. It's going to be, let's forget the order, gf prime minus f of x times g prime over g of x squared. Actually, let me write that better in parentheses instead. G of x squared. Okay, so this is the rules we're going to be using for today. So here are your formulas. Okay. let's go ahead and look at the homework examples. Some of them will start off pretty easy, meaning it looks like you don't really have to multiply. Can you guys see the screen?
Mhm.
Okay, so you could technically distribute this, right? FOIL it out and then do the derivative of every single term to avoid the product rule. But the point is to learn it because you can't always simplify the problem. For example, number 2, you cannot do anything here to avoid product rule. You're going to have to do it. All right, so I'm good with the answers, right? I want to know how do you get there. Okay, so number 1. Let's see here. Let me write it down, and we'll switch over to the screen. So I'm just going to call it f of x. Well, you know what? I'm going to call it y, just so we can use better notes. I know it says g, but to make it consistent with what we wrote earlier, I'm going to say y is equal to x squared plus 9 times x squared minus 4x. Let me switch over. All right, so let's just pretend this is my f and my g, right? So over here, what I recommend is to write down the functions, whatever you decide to name them. I'm gonna call this f. So what is the derivative of f?
Two X.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2x, right? That's it. Okay, so g, we define it to be x squared minus 4x. What is g prime?
Two X minus 4.
2x minus 4. Is everyone comfortable with those derivatives? Because I'm assuming that you're okay with this at this point, but if you're not, please let me know if you don't know where this came from. So I'm going to move on to this rule here. You guys okay then?
Yes.
So following the formula, right? So the derivative of the entire function, right, by prime, is simply going to be, right, we said f prime, write the formula again, g plus f of x times g prime. So that will be derivative, right? 2x times g, which is x squared minus 4x, plus f, which is x squared plus 9, times g prime, which is 2x minus 4. Focus a little bit. Does that make sense how we set this up? It's not too bad, right?
So that's the final result, or we have to distribute that?
Well, that was
Simple-
we did the calculus step. Now the rest is algebra, right?
Okay.
So now we just multiply it out. So 2x times all that, that would be 2x cubed
Two.
minus
8 squared.
plus 2x squared minus 4x squared plus 18x minus 36, right?
Mhm.
So final answer will be 2.
It's 2x cubed, right?
Yes.
Mechanical.
X cubed. This one right here. 2x cubed. You're right. So yeah, there you go. Thank you. So the answer will be 4x cubed minus 12x squared, right? Plus 18x minus 36. So this will be your final answer. Here. Are there any questions about any of those steps so far?
So you got 8x squared because you squared 4x, right?
Yeah, right here. You're talking about this one?
No, the other one, the negative 8x squared.
Yeah, so that'd be 2x times negative 4x would be
Oh.
negative 8x. So it'd be this times this, then this times that.
Okay, I got it.
Got it? All right, so yeah, it's up. So what I recommend, is to do this on the side somewhere. That way you can't mess it up. So you're prepared and organized. After a while, you can kind of avoid this step, but I wouldn't avoid it on a test. Not really. Keep you straight. No questions on number one? Number one?
I actually have a question. I think
Yeah.
I'm just overlooking it. The negative 4x squared, where did that come from? Is it just the x squared times the negative 4?
This one right here?
Yes.
That is x squared times negative 4, right?
Okay. Just making sure.
So that would be, because you guys do the distribution. So this times the first one, this times the second one,
Mhm.
these two.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. All right, so now this guy, it's gonna be another product rule because we have the function 8ex times cosine x. So there's my f and g. Excuse me. Yeah, cool, if I turn the page.
Wait, can you go back real quick?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
That is no rush.
I got it. It's okay.
So we're gonna do this guy here. Write it down real quick. So again, I'm gonna use y just because that's the notation that I'm using. So I'm gonna say, for example, 2, y of x is equal to 8ex times cosine x. Okay, let me switch them. Okay. All right. So it doesn't matter which one is f or g. You can choose whatever the heck you want. So, and the 8 will make no difference. You can pull that 8 out and not worry about it. So this right here, we'll call f. This over here is g. So before we start, write down f, and I'm going to put the 8 with the f. Even though you could ignore it and just attach it at the end, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and do it together just for no reason. So what is the derivative of 8ex?
8ex.
Yeah, it doesn't change, right? So the 8 doesn't do anything, and ex is always ex. Okay, so g cosine. What is derivative of cosine? Do you guys remember? from last time?
Negative sign?
Yeah, negative sign. Nice. Okay, so we got all of them. Okay. So here we go. Derivative of the entire function. This time I'm going to use the other notation, just so you can get used to it. So d dx of y of x is equal to d dx of this entire thing. Which just, all that means is take the derivative. That's it. Okay.
Professor,
Yeah.
last class you uploaded a PDF, right, of the derivatives, correct?
I think I sent you one, yes. You talking about the rules?
Yes.
Yeah, did you get it?
Did you send it at Canvas email?
Yeah, Canvas message. If you didn't get it, I'll send it again.
Okay, no, it's fine. I'll look at it.
Yeah, let me know so I can send it again. All right, so this side just becomes dy dx, so who cares? This side is going to be a product rule. So remember, we said it's going to be, right, the formula says f prime g plus g prime f. So that will be 8ex cosine plus g prime, which is negative sign, right? Times f, which is 8ex. That's about all we can do. We could factor the 8ex, I guess, but the final answer will be 8ex cosine minus 8ex sine x. Okay.
Is that the answer?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me show you what they wrote. See what they did over here. They factor the 8ex, but it's the same thing, right? See what I mean? All right. Any questions about number 2?
I guess, does the order on the AEX on the answer, the second half of it, does it matter?
I
What
mean, like
order
if I
it's in?
swap, if I switch these, you mean?
No, on the second half of it, of the
Here.
answer, the AEX sine X, like if it would be sine X, AEX, does that am I making sense?
I mean, like if you put the 8ex first,
Yes.
no, it would not matter because it's addition. So as long as you have negative sine x and 8ex, I don't care. It won't matter how you write it this way or that
Okay.
way.
So even in the answer, it wouldn't matter, we flip them.
No, because once you
Okay.
multiply it, usually we put the 8 and e, the numbers in front and the ex in front. But I mean, there's no rule that says you have to.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Now we're going to move on to the quotient rule.
None here for me.
Let's move on. Let's see. Let's do it the hard one. Oh. Yeah, this is fine. All right, so this is a quotient. You see why we need to use the quotient rule, right? Because we have division. Correct.
Yeah.
Over here, same deal. Division. you could use algebra to force it into a product rule. Some people like to do this because they hate the product, they hate the quotient rule. There are times where quotient is best. For example, this one here, you kind of have to. And since we don't have the chain rule just yet, we have no choice. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the way they're asking us to do it. All right, so example 3. By the way, I have not been writing the instructions, so assume that all the instructions are find the first derivative. Okay, for your notes. All you notice that all I wrote was the function, and it started working. I should be writing find the derivative of the following function. I got lazy.
They'll get specific here further down.
Yeah, so I'll write it down right here. Find the derivative. I mean, it's in the question, but I want to be proper. Find the derivative of the following. All right. So y of x is going to be this thing from the homework. X to the 8th plus 1. Okay. So start the same thing, same way. F will be the top. G will be the bottom. Actually, let's take the derivative first. What is F prime? What is G prime? Guys, don't drink too much, right, guys?
8x or no?
I don't
It
plan
would
on drinking
be-
that much.
It's gonna be 8x.
Plus 1.
What about the power on the x?
To the 7.
7th, right? And the 1 derivative of the 1 would be 0, so it's gone.
Oh.
And this derivative of x would be
1.
1, right? So once you have all this, we're pretty much good. Although remember the formula said you have to square g. So we may have to square it, or maybe just put a 2 on it at the bottom. We'll see. We'll see. Let's keep on going here. Let me write the rule down, because quotient rule, the order is important because there's a minus sign. So it's going to be g of x times f prime minus f times g prime over g of x squared. All right. Okay, so just plug it all in, right? So that's all we're doing. So g is x to the 8th plus 1 times f prime, which is a 1, right? Minus f times g prime. Everything divided by parentheses. That's fine. Okay. You guys still with me to this point?
Yes.
Yeah, we're with you.
So at this point, you just do algebra, right? So this is this first step right here is the calculus step. So we're done with calculus, now algebra time. So here we go. So the 1's not doing anything. So who cares? We just take out those parentheses. It'll be x to the 8th plus 1 minus x times 8x to the 7th will be 8x to the 8th, right? Over x to the 8th plus 1 squared. Let me check the answer and see if they square the bottom. No, we'll just left it this way. So they're cool with you leaving it like this, with the denominator.
But could we write it out different and factor it out?
Yeah, you could multiply it out if you want to. But they will also
And-
accept it like this.
In my experience, unless they ask for a specific rule, you could use quotient or the other one without any difficulty. It'll take either one unless they specify for it.
Well, a derivative is a derivative, so they're not gonna. You can, as long as you give it to it, give the right answer, you're fine.
Yeah, that's my point exactly.
Unless it's an exam and I'm asking for a specific rule, that's about it.
I think that's what I just said, but then again, I don't know.
So
And you can't use a documentary on the EPR paradox to fall asleep. It really shows you how desperate one can become.
Could we leave those together like 8x plus 1 and then minus the 8x to 8th and then rewrite x to the 8th plus 1 squared as x to the 8th plus 1 times x to the 8th plus 1 and factor it out?
the time on the top part.
Like if you leave them separate, right? Like they were in parentheses before with each other.
You're talking about this piece right here, right?
Yeah, and then if we write it as x to the 8th plus 1 times x to the 8th plus 1. Could we factor them out or just not even worry about it, leave it this way?
Well, you won't be able to factor from the top because both terms don't have the x to the 8 plus 1. And you can't cancel this with that either because it's not a rule. So yeah, there's nothing you can do. And then when you get to the last step, you still can't because they'd have to be exactly the same. So there's no factoring technique that would help you reduce this. This is as pretty as it gets. I mean, the only thing you could do, but which would not be better, would be to separate these as this fraction over this minus this fraction over that. That's the only thing you could do different. You see what I mean? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't matter which order. You can put the 1 minus or the -7 first. It doesn't matter. Okay. Do you have any other questions on number 3?
No.
Not on my end.
It's not too bad so far. Or what do you think?
It's not so bad and
I'm hoping this
figure
will-
outable. I watched some videos on it and so far, and I was able to do it. I managed to get problems 1 through 5 with green lights. So
That's good. I'm hoping this is easier than the limits for you guys that like solving equations and problems and stuff. It's a little bit less theoretical. The theory is what's powering all this in the background.
yeah, that's been
For-
handy.
So 3 and 4 are the same deal, just different functions. So I'm gonna skip 4. 5, all this is asking you to do is find the derivative. So we did something, this is just like number 1. But after you do that step, right, you plug in 0 for C, in other words, for X. There's nothing really to do here. That makes sense. Do you see what they're asking?
Can you repeat that last bit?
So all I want you to do is take the derivative using product rule, which gets
Okay.
something like this. and then you
Okay.
plug in 0, and you get this number. You plug in whatever C they're giving you. That's what you're gonna do for number 5 and number 6. You find the derivative, and you plug in that number. Nothing else.
For some reason that did not work for me.
They gotta be real careful because these numbers can get ugly.
Are we plugging
Uh,
in 0 as X?
Yes.
Okay,
I
then
even,
-8 on that one.
Yeah, so if you plug in 0 here, that'd be what? 2 times 0, 0, 2 times -4, so that'd be -8.
Okay,
This would be 0 and 0. So yeah, there'd be only -8 left. If you were to multiply all this out and then plug in 0, it'd be the same thing. But what I recommend is don't actually multiply it all out because it's easier to plug in the value this way because stuff might zero out. Just-
Jack,
Hmm.
this, let's see, you said does it use the value of C or do you actually have to go for prime value of C?
No, you find the
'Cause I
derivative
actually-
first, f prime. And
Yeah, I got
then-
that and so far, and I got it, but what was the second part?
So that function that you found, f prime,
Mhm.
plug in the C that they're asking for into that one. And tell me to
Oh.
find the result.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's all you do here. For
Okay,
Five.
because that's where I got hung up. It wouldn't take the C I entered.
Yeah, you have to
I think I
simplify
see.
everything.
Okay, I think I see where I went wrong now.
Let's see.
I was doing this most of last night, trying to exhaust myself. You'd think it would have worked.
Let's go ahead and do, let's do 5 just so you can see what I'm talking about. Just in case. Actually, this is example 4, right? Okay. Find the first derivative. And then find the derivative at C. So here's your function. We'll call it y of x because it goes nicely with our formulas, not because you have to. So the first piece is x to the 5th plus 2x times 3x cubed plus 3x minus 4. Okay. C is equal to 0. That's what they said. So I'm going to make the first one to be f. So x to the 5th plus 2x. F prime of x will be 5x to the 4 plus 2. G of x will be 3x cubed plus 3x minus 4. What is g prime? And you see where f prime came from.
Nine x squared plus 3.
9x squared plus 3. That's correct. Nice, thank you. All right. So y prime will be write my formula here. So will be f prime G plus G prime F. Which will be equal to right, so just plug them all in, right? And I think I might not have space here, so I'm gonna write it lower. Write tiny. Right, so y prime will be f prime plus 2 times g plus g prime times f. So they will accept it just like that. You don't have to FOIL everything out. You could if you want, they will accept both. But I think when you see them asking for some C value, it's better to leave it this way, okay? So now the question saying for this is part A, right, of the question. Part B would be, what is the derivative at C? Well, that means at 0 for this case. So plug in the 0 here, so this is gone, you'll be left with 2 times -4 plus 3 times 0, which is -8. I skipped a minor step here. Do you see where these numbers came from? Plugging in 0 here leaves you with a 2. Plugging in 0 here leaves you with -4, right? Plug in 0 there, you're left with a 3. These both have x, so 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. So you're only left with this piece here. Okay. Either way, I believe in you. I think you can plug in 0 everywhere. Right?
Mhm.
Anyway, that's all you do for 5, 6, 7. They're all the same.
I was having difficulties with 8.
Number 8.
Yeah.
Let's look at it. Number 8. Let's see here. So we have x to the 7 in the bottom. We can do the quotient rule technically, or we can force it to be a negative power, right? Use algebra to rewrite the problem.
Yeah.
So honestly, for this one, that'd be the easiest route because we'll do it both ways. You know, it doesn't matter. You guys cool on example 4? Before I move
So
on,
far, yeah. Mhm.
Yep.
let me know if something was weird. Example 5. Let me write it down. Find the first derivative. So y of x is equal to 5 over 2x to the 7. So one way you could do this, I'm gonna do it. Let's do it with the quotient rule. That's what they said. So f of x would be the top. F prime is clearly going to be what?
$14x to the power of 6.
Yeah, this guy will be 14x for G prime and for F prime.
Oh, F prime, it's gonna be 1.
Zero.
Close, yeah, 0.
Oh, 0. Shoot, that's
so-
probably why I was making an error. Yeah.
Yeah, derivative of constant will always be 0. Don't forget. So then at this point, use our formula, right? So we have, let's forget the formula.
Wait, is it 0 because there's no x?
Yes. So whenever it's a constant, like a number, any kind of number, fraction, whatever, pi, e, all those numbers, the derivative will be 0.
Okay.
No offense, but whoever's been arguing in the background, it sounds worse than my neighbor's chickens.
Something on my paper there. All right, so y prime for a quotient will be G times F prime minus F times G prime. Okay. All right, so here we go. Just plug it all in and we're good. So G is 2x to the 7 times 0 minus 5 times 5 times. Let's put on my new pen. G prime, which is 14x to the 6. Over g of x squared. So that will be 2x to the 7. Come on, stupid pen. Squared. Okay. So let's write over here somewhere. That looks ugly. Okay, so you see how the first term will go to 0, right? It's going. If I can write on this paper. This time it's my paper. so we had 2x to the 7 times 0 minus 5 times 14x to the 6 over 2x to the 7 squared. Okay. So this first part will be 0. Try this again. Minus 5 times 14, what is that?
70.
70.
Yeah, 70, right? I feel like I'm cursed with these pens today, this week. Let me try a
I'll put it-
different page.
I'll put it this way, last week did more damage than we thought. So be thankful you only have problems with your pins.
I think something got stuck on this paper, because the pens are brand new now.
Look, sometimes they don't write well when you've just erased something. They don't like
Yeah.
to stick in heat. The ink evaporates.
That's true. So let me go to a different page. This is ridiculous.
Have you actually ever bothered cleaning them with water? Have you just ever,
Yeah,
or
I
you
use
just use
water.
the eraser? Okay, I was say if you just use the eraser, you'll ruin them. I've already ruined one that way. Trying to just use an eraser. But every now and again, it also just helps to give them an actual thorough cleaning. There's a recommendation thing on the website.
I use that special cloth that came with water.
No, it's a cleaning agent. I want to say it's a mixture of water and alcohol to actually clean the paper.
Yeah, I might have to
This is-
try that because I think I've used them so much. There must be a layer of garbage on here.
Yeah, I found it somewhere. I don't remember how much, just standard ethyl alcohol and just a little bit inside of some water. It should theoretically clean the film off of it.
Yeah, I'm
So
giving
we'll
it a shot.
gain a, yeah.
Okay, so this page is a little bit better. So then we're gonna get one more time. 0 minus 70. And every time I write the next part. That's funny. Two x to the 7 squared, what will that be?
Or x to the
4 x to the 14, right? You guys see that 70 up there? It's bugging the heck out of me. It's not very nice, man. This will be negative 70x to the 6 over 4x to the 14. This pen likes me. All right, repeat the same spot 3 times now. I'm assuming you guys saw what happened, right? You guys still with me up to here?
Yeah, up to there at least.
Okay, so just reduce this, right? X to the 6 over x to the 14th. What's left over? This, yeah. This will be negative 35 over 2x to the 8, right? Okay. Any questions on this problem?
All right now.
So the alternate way. So 5 over 2x to the 7 would simply be just to bring up the x to the 7 to the top. Fine house, you can leave it on the side, or you could leave the 2 on the bottom. Same thing.
Why wouldn't it be 8?
I'm sorry.
Why wouldn't it be 8 squared? Like 8x.
What do you mean?
So it was 8, but then you turned it into a 7?
No, I'm
Why-
redoing the same question from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
We're doing an alternate method on the same problem.
Okay.
So the first method was the quotient rules, which is what they asked for. But it wasn't necessary because we can use algebra to bring this up to the top. And then you can just do a power rule, right? Bring down the negative 7. Wouldn't that just be negative 5 times negative 7, right? So you bring the bring the 7 down. Two is still there. 5 times negative 7 would be negative 35 x to the negative 8 over 2, and then just bring the negative power down, and you're done. You see how you don't really have to do quotient for this particular question.
Think so.
Same answer as this.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's another idea in here is we should go over at least once or twice. It's finding the second derivative. Towards the bottom, number 18. Example 6.
What number is it? You said 18?
Yeah, it's starting on similar to 18. Yeah. So find the second derivative.
question 18, problem 18 on homework.
So f of x is going to be equal to x to the fourth plus 10x cubed minus 3x squared. So this is problem 18. So when they ask for the second, they don't care about the first. So you do it once and then you do it again. So that's all you got to do. So the first one will be just power rule all the way down, right? So do the first one. It'd be 4x to the third plus 30x squared, right? What about these two? What's this going to be?
Negative
6x.
Yeah, I gotta bring the 2 down, right? 2 times 3. So minus 6x. And if there is no power, it's just leaves you with the constant. Are you guys comfortable with how we got here?
Mm-hmm. I don't think I see any. I think I got it.
Actually, that 4x cubed, how did,
4x cubed. So you bring the 4 down, right? And then you subtract 1 from the power. So that 4 is in front. That 4 became a 3. So all we did was the power rule on each single one.
okay, got it.
Okay. So that's the first derivative, but that's not what they asked for. So they want the second derivative. So do it again. So bring the 3 down. So that'll be, so I'll show some steps. It'll be 4 times 3. X to the 3 minus 1 plus 30 times 2 x to the 2 minus 1 minus 6 minus 0. The constant is gone. So that will be 12x squared. 30 times 2 will be 60 minus 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys comfortable with the second derivative? You see how it's just the same thing, you just do it again, right?
Yeah.
It's not something new. Just want to make sure you know what they mean by find the second derivative. Oh, or one idea we should mention before we move on to questions. So in physics, the derivative of position is velocity. Derivative of velocity is acceleration. So if they give you a velocity function, you can take the derivative to find acceleration. If they give you position, you have to take 2 derivatives to get to acceleration. Okay, so the change in position, by where you are at a given time, is velocity. The change in velocity is acceleration. Okay, does that make sense? So if you saw the videos, you should remember where this comes from. So they're giving us v, where v is measured in meters per second. Find the velocity at 2, find the acceleration at 2. In other words, 2 meaning when time is equal to 2 seconds or whatever. I don't think they specify it. Usually it's in it's seconds, right? So the first one is no big deal, right? Velocity at 2 seconds means plug in 2. So 47 minus 2 squared, 43, right? Who cares? Now, acceleration, you'd have to first take the derivative of this and then plug in 2. That's where this comes from, -4. Okay. So it's a quick note here. So given position function x of t the first derivative is velocity v of t. The second derivative is acceleration, well, a of t. So just to keep it in math notation, derivative of position is velocity, double derivative of position would be the first derivative of velocity, which would be the function of acceleration. These are t's, by the way.
Mhm.
So if they ask you about acceleration and give you velocity, then you have to take one derivative and plug in a number. If they ask for velocity and give you position, then you just take one as well. But if you have position and they ask about acceleration, you'll have to take two derivatives. You see how two of them gets me to acceleration. Okay. So we'll stop here as for 3.3. Do you guys have any homework questions for 3.2? So I'm hoping you
believe I did,
tried
but
it
never
out.
to it.
What's up?
I said, I think I had a question on one of the ones on 3.2, but let me get to it first.
Okay.
So for number 25, how do you get a
25 on number 3. 3.3?
yes?
No, this one, right?
Yes, it has -4, but I don't know like where they got that from.
Yeah, let's do it real quick and then we'll move on to 3.2. Okay, so velocity, it gave us 47 minus t squared.
Yeah, I didn't know where to plug in a, so that's like what I
So you need the first derivative, because that would be, what is the first derivative here?
Velocity.
Yeah, first derivative velocity would be what?
47.
And what happens to the 47? And what happens to the negative 2t squared?
You plug in the 2 right for the t. That's how. Oh, the velocity for yours it was 43. No.
47 is mine here.
Oh, okay.
47 minus 2.
Yeah,
Minus
so
4.
yeah, so you
2t.
have to do derivative first, right? And then so this will be 0. This would be 2t, right? So the first derivative is equal to acceleration, which is equal to negative 2t. So now that you have this, you can answer the question. So v of 2 means 47 minus 2 squared. Acceleration at 2 seconds is going to be negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. That's what you have to do. So this would be, what, 44, right? Or 43.
So we're having to square the t in order to get the velocity for that
Yeah,
second.
Yeah, that's just how what the function does, right? It's 47 minus t squared. So you plug in a time and you square it and subtract it from 47.
And then you do that. Okay. Yeah, I was lost there too on that. I was like, that's not okay.
So that's what they did right
So-
here.
So it's always gonna be 2, or is that because it says your acceleration is 2?
That's
Because
bec-
for
This
my,
is 2 because they said time is 2 here. B of 2, A of 2.
okay, because for mine I have 5 and it's supposed to be -25, right? But I put it in and it didn't count it right. So I don't know what I did wrong.
You have the same function?
Yes. I have a different number, -28 instead of 47.
So you have t equals 5, correct?
Yes.
So you just plug in a 5 into this one. That'll give you part A.
Okay.
And then take the derivative and plug in 5 and you'll get this one. That's what I did, but I had 2 seconds instead of 5.
So it's not -5 times 5 for mine.
Well, yeah, yours would be -5 squared. So the minus is outside, so it's 5 squared and then minus.
Yeah, I did that one and it didn't count it right. Can I share my screen for a second?
Sure, that's fine.
Mine.
Somebody's novela is at the background.
Sorry, I'm at a party.
Sorry.
So you can see mine.
Yeah, so yours is time is 5. So the derivative would be, you plug in 5, so it'd be 28 minus 25, which is 3, so that's right. Then the next one, you would do the derivative. What is the derivative of your v function?
0. Wouldn't it be 0 at first?
That's 0.
You have to get rid of that
What's
negative.
What's derivative of this and derivative of this guy? What would that be?
3. I don't know.
Right, so remember, what is acceleration, right? You need to find the derivative of this entire function first before we do any of this here, before we do this stuff.
Okay.
So find v prime. Once you have that, you plug in 5 to find this part here. Okay. So what you gotta figure out, what is this derivative using the power rules from 3.1.
It's positive 25.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm still a little lost. I have the same variable, but I have 30. So I was able to successfully find my velocity, but I still can't find the acceleration. I'm a
Did you
little
take the
lost on
first?
that part.
Did you find the first derivative?
Yes, I found the first derivative, and it's first derivative of the entire problem is 5. I tried plugging that in, it told me it was wrong. Tried to find the second derivative, it told me it was 0, and that's wrong.
No, the first
So-
derivative is not 5.
Hmm.
Let me see your share your screen.
One sec.
All right, so it's the same question. What is the, you gotta do your power rule. What is the derivative of this function? I'm not talking about any of this stuff. What is the derivative
Okay.
of this?
As it sits, or with the
Just
with the
this
variable?
piece right, this thing right here. What is the
Let's find
first
that.
derivative?
Okay. B T equals 20. And negative 2t.
Right,
Okay.
so negative 2t is going to be the acceleration function. So you plug in a 5 into that function.
Okay.
So negative 2 times 5.
Okay. I see where I went wrong now. Okay. There we go.
And so we went at 3, 2. I'm gonna let you guys work on 3, 3 for a bit. You can ask me next time. I want to make sure how you guys are doing on 3, 2 first.
So far, I'm good, I think.
Do you have tutoring hours yet?
Just the office hours. The
Because
What is-
I thought it was like to be announced. I don't know if you're gonna
yeah,
tutor.
I'm not doing the tutoring like last time. I was
Oh,
going to, but they had me do some engineering stuff instead. But you can come to my office hours and we can work on problems together.
okay. And you don't have like an official link, right? Like to your office hours.
Yeah, I do. It's in Canvas.
It's in the syllabus, I believe.
Yeah, it's like the first page, I think. Let me see.
What
Should be
days?
like the first, second page.
Well, it has my second. Let me find it for you.
What days are office hours?
It's every day, just different times. Here, let me bring it up. 1 second. Yeah, so if you go to instructor information, right here, there's a mix. So we go down to here. Let's see if it's in the syllabus. Yeah, they're in here. Monday, Wednesdays 4 to 6. You just click here. Tuesday, Thursdays 3 to 6. And if I don't let you in, I put my number on there so you can text me in case I'm not paying attention. Okay.
Do you happen to have office hours after 6? I won't get home till 6.
Not usually, but if you need me, we can figure something out. Just
Okay.
give me a heads up.
Okay.
But also, I try to leave time also for during class as well, like right now.
Technically, we have 30 minutes left in class.
Yeah, so this is time to do some homework if you guys are stuck on anything.
Yes, sir, I'm in charge of your finances, so we're gonna charge a fee after hours, okay? Just joking.
I haven't done private tutoring like that. Let's see. So you guys comfortable with 3, 2 or no?
I'm so far, I think I got most of my stuff done.
I was having trouble with 9. Oh, wait, you said 3, 2? Sorry.
Well, I want to make sure everyone's good on 3, 2 before we focus on something else.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'm with you, Justin. Actually, I think those are also the problems I'm stuck on 3, 2. I think was it 3, 2 or was that something, or was that me, or was that 3, 4?
Oh, we just did 3, 3 today. I mean, if
I
you
had
had
a
3, 4, that's great.
Sorry.
So-
I had a question on number 17 of 3.2.
Okay.
I cannot figure that one out.
17. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I have ugly fractions, right? It's powers. We can. You want to share your screen so I can do the one you have? Have the answer.
That's number 17.
Okay, so you have. I'm gonna change it to x's because I don't like. As you can see, my t's look like crap. So 7x to the 2/3.
Look nicer than mine. My T's look like X's.
7x to the 1/3 plus 6. Okay. Got
Wrote my name down one time and someone tried to call me Zyler.
it. I mean, nowadays, wouldn't be surprised if it exists. It could be. I'm sure there's a Xyler out there somewhere.
That is possible, but that was still embarrassing.
Okay. All right. So when this requires a power rule, so we got to bring down the 2/3, multiply by the 7 that's already there, and then you do 2/3 minus 1 minus 7, and then you bring the 1/3 on this guy, and then you do 1/3 minus 1. The 6 is gone. So that would be, what's 2/3 minus 1? It's going to be negative, right? Okay, so 7 times 2/3. If this one's not too bad, that'll be 14/3. 2/3 minus 1 will be x to the negative 1/3. 7 times 1/3 would be 7/3. 1/3 minus 1 will be negative 2/3. Okay, so at that point, we're pretty much done. Yeah, there's nothing else to do. They don't change the powers to negative or positive, so you can leave it like this. Let me write it a little prettier then, because I can't read that. 14/3 times x to the negative 1/3 minus 7/3 times x to the negative 2/3. There you go. So use this one. It should take it. As long as I know how to add numbers, should be good.
I guess I just messed up in my numbers and I'm just like, what am I doing?
I mean, as long as the process is good, that's what matters to me. Just if you're messing up the fractions, I mean, it's okay, but just be careful.
What happens if you miss a class?
Me?
Yeah, what if you miss a class?
I don't have to go to my classes.
Oh, you just.
You guys have any other questions?
Number 10, 3-2, number 10.
Okay, all right. And here it is. This guy?
Yep. We talked about it last time, but I totally forgot.
Yeah, so it's very similar to the one we did with the quotient rule. Remember how we had two approaches?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do it again. It's fine. So y equal to 2
3.2?
fifths. Yeah, this is 3.2. So
Oh, okay.
oops, I put the x squared on top by accident. What is your numbers, Tyler? That way you have the same. You have the answer.
What are my numbers? I have y equals 8 over 5x squared.
Okay. Yeah, it is a challenge, Vicente. After 2 or 3 drinks, math is really hard. All right, so what I recommended last time is bring the variable part to the top and make it a negative power. So before you start, you can kind of move this fraction to the side because it doesn't really matter, and bring the variable to the top. Once you're here, just do a power rule. So the derivative will be negative 16 over 5 times x to the negative 3. Final answer being negative 16 over 5x cubed.
Okay. So, okay. Mhm. Okay, so we're 8/5 times x to the negative 3, if I, or
What's that, Tyler?
sorry, I'm lost.
No, that's okay. It's getting late. I know.
I mean, I haven't slept since Sunday, so
I think we all maybe I froze up. One more time.
I hadn't slept since Sunday night.
Sounds horrible.
It is. It's called insomnia.
I'm assuming you're getting like random naps in between, right? Here and there.
No luck. Like I said, I spent last night watching a documentary about the EPR paradox
Just
to try
remember,
and fall asleep.
after the 48-hour mark or 72, you risk death.
Yes, you do. I have crossed that threshold many times.
Careful.
Oh, it's not by choice. Believe me, that's why I was talking about dipping into my hard stuff tonight. Typically mixed with my narcotic medication, it knocks me out.
I wish you the best.
So
just don't overdo it.
You're talking about if you study drunk, take the test drunk. At this point, I'm already taking tests high as a kite.
Basically, man, if you're not sleeping, you're pretty much out of your mind.
Yeah. So
it's not a good place to be.
It's not a good place to be. I've had this problem for 21 and a half years. It's going to be there for as long as I live.
Get a handle on that.
Okay.
Does this problem make sense though? You see what we did?
Nope. I did not see what we did.
So the first thing you do, see that fraction 8/5? I just move it to the side because it's not doing anything. Then I brought the x squared to the top. So this is technically, I didn't write it, but it's technically over 1. It's no longer a denominator. So you just apply the power rule to this guy. So you bring down the -2. So -2 times 8 is -16. The 5 is still here. Now this is a -3 power. So now you take it back to the bottom, and it's a positive power, and you're done.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Where I'm having trouble is actually the completing the table.
Table, you gotta follow the instructions. Let's look at it together.
Yeah. So I was able to rewrite the to try and rewrite it.
So to rewrite the problem, right? So that's what I did earlier.
Mhm.
Let's see, where is it?
Okay, so,
So the final box is the answer. The second
Uh-huh.
box is the derivative. The first box is the rewriting the question.
the first two boxes.
Yeah.
So
this is-
I,
This would be the fraction part that moves to the side.
yeah, that'd be the
This will-
8/5. This
Yeah, this
one
would be the
would
the
be,
power, -2 power here.
okay, so negative, you said it's a -2 power.
Right.
And then we would find our, uh,
And this one would be for you, -16/5 times x to the -3.
-16 this to the what now?
Times x to the -3.
Okay. 16 fix, times x to the negative, or x to the -3. And then we would simplify out the whole problem. Oops, wrong one. So it would, so the end result would be -16 5x to the third.
-16 over
Over 5x to the third power, my bad. To the third. See. Okay, I think now I understand the process.
Yeah,
That's where I was
the-
getting hung up.
Anyone else have questions on 3-2?
Nope, that'll be all.
Well, we'll stop here then. You guys have any other concerns or questions about anything so far? Doing cool in chapter 3 and is it making sense?
Yes. When is the next exam, Mr. Gonzalez?
Very far ahead. Let's look at our syllabus. Give us an idea. So we just did 3-2 and 3-3. So technically we're ahead, sort of, even though we lost a week. So I'll say we call it even. So next week, I'll probably do chain rule and a lot of practice. This one is kind of tough for people. So next week I'll be helping you guys out. Review 3-3 through 4. Maybe start this. This one, I'm not sure yet. So it's not till the following week. So the exam is nowhere nearby. So maybe 2 weeks or so from now.
2 weeks, okay.
So the
2
earliest I would
weeks.
say second or third week of March, somewhere around there. But
Okay, that actually, wait, second week of March?
probably third, but again,
Okay, yeah.
it's still far away. So I'm
Yeah,
not-
third week is actually probably, I say, please make it third week, because my surgery from last week got moved to either, I don't remember if it's the 5th or the 12th of March. So that would
Well, I
be
mean,
very
if you,
much
like,
appreciated.
yeah, I mean, of course, you can always push it back for you. If you have a medical reason.
Thank you. Yeah, well, mostly because the anesthesia, I'll be really high as a kite for a week, for the entire weekend.
Yeah, I don't recommend you take the test till you recover. So
Yeah,
Well,
so,
yeah, just do what you can, and we'll see. We'll figure it out. So in a week or two, I'll give you a definite date. Right now, it's a little early.
okay,
to
thank
give
you.
an exact date, but your estimate is middle of March.
Does
Okay,
anyone by
that-
any
yeah.
chance know about spring break and if we're gonna have a spring break?
Well, legally, we have to.
I'm pretty sure we will, but I haven't heard anything. Because when we had the COVID, we had the 2-week spring break. I don't know if you guys were in school during that.
Mhm.
So we
Yeah,
didn't
we had that
cancel
week.
it, and we didn't change anything. So worst case scenario is the semester is 1 week longer. I don't think they will cancel it. Them-
Even still,
Same as
Albert said he's. Either way, Albert said he was going to give his students spring break anyways.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
needed-
I wouldn't take that from you guys either. Like I said, we're kind of almost ahead, so. we're
Actually, he said he needed the break, but yeah. Thank you for sharing his sentiments.
Yeah, it's I haven't heard anything official. I'll ask soon, but no, I'll make sure you guys have spring break. Don't worry about it.
Okay. If, like you said, if it's a week
No, it's-
longer, it's a week longer. I mean, that's happened to us before.
But if you guys complain, I'm gonna have to make you come in, right?
I don't plan on complaining. And what's an extra Monday and Wednesday?
Well, this is a fact. My wife had a baby, our second baby, on a Friday to Saturday, and she had finals on Monday. I'm not allowed to complain anywhere.
Congratulations.
It's tough, man.
Oh, I have 4 children. That was my second child.
Oh,
2
I see.
times ago.
Congratulations, man. But yeah, that's I imagine it's a mixed feeling for 4 kids. It's probably you probably feel more like a blessing and a curse type thing.
Amigos. We'll
Are the-
stop here then.
Are the due dates for 3-3 and 3-4 gonna change? Are they
Most
still-
likely, yeah. Right now, I think they're all due this week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll probably move this next week. There's no rush on that.
That's what, yeah, 'cause that's what I was saying. That's why I said I thought it was 3-4 when I was telling you about those problems, because 3-3 and 3-4 are due Friday.
I do expect chapter 2 to be done. by this
Oh,
weekend.
chapter 2.
I'm not opening that
I-
again at this point. But
I
these
finished
two done.
chapter 2 by the first due date.
I'll consider the beginning of 3, but 3-2, 3-3 will for sure be pushed back.
Yeah, because I'm probably about as far as I'm ever going to get in 3-1 and 3-2.
Well, if you have any questions, I'll let you head out and bring some questions on Monday for 3-2 or 3-3, if you find some.
Did you find anything about to buying a book, actual book on this? Instead of,
I emailed him, he never got back to me. I have to call him. You know what, I'll call him tomorrow. Sorry, I forgot about that. But
Okay.
I know we used to, when we were in person, we had that option. You contact the publisher and they would send it to you.
well,
But you
the
have to
last,
pay like $20 or something.
yeah, the last semester I bought the book for pre-calc for $20 only, so that's why
Yeah, they should still do that.
it is
Have
only.
you seen it anywhere in the homework? Like somewhere in the,
Well, there's only rentals.
there's no offers within the homework platform that you saw.
Yeah, there's only rental options over there, but there's nothing like you could get the physical book.
Okay, let me send an email right now before I forget again. But yeah, I'll find out and email you guys tomorrow or Friday.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll see you.
All right. See you. Hey,
Later, man.
have a nice weekend. Good night, guys.
See you, man.
Adios.
Adios.
Have a good
Okay.
night. Bye.
Congratulations, Felipe.
Have a good night.
Jack, I just had a question. I know you had said you were gonna push back some of the homework.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, if I push back most of chapter 3 for like another week or something,
Okay,
maybe next Sunday instead of this Sunday.
okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much.
No worries.
So are you open to questions about 3.3 or that's next week.
You know, yeah, I don't mind if you're ahead, sure.
Yeah.
Which one's giving you problems?
9, to be honest. I was trying it earlier as well, but couldn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. Nine, this guy.
Yeah.
There's a couple ways you can do this. You could simplify this problem, right? Because you can divide x 3/2 by x.
Yeah.
So you can do that and then do a basic power rule. Or you can do it the long way and do a quotient, which actually I wouldn't do it for this one. That's another. So if you divide the x's, you're going to have x to the 1/2 on top, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so you just bring that half down, and that'd be it. So if we start with what is your number, by the way? The number on top.
Yeah. 8x to the power of 3 over 2.
Oh, yours is the same.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, over x.
Okay, so if you simplify this, you'll get 8x to the 1/2. So the derivative will be 8 times 1/2 times x 1/2 minus 1. So that would be 4 x to the negative half, which is actually 4 over x to the 1/2, which is really just 4 over square root of x.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just writing this down at the same time.
Yeah.
And formulas for the quotient, sine, cosine, they're all going to be available on a test, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I sent it to you, but I would write them down on a formula sheet or print it out. I don't think I'll put it on the test itself, though.
Okay. Yeah. And so that was the answer then.
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Yeah.
So this is the final answer, but I think they want you to plug in little pieces along the way, but that's the idea.
All right. Well, guess I'm gonna try and go at them. It's a pretty simple, logical concept, but for some reason I just kept on running into small issues. I guess just not my day to day.
Right. So sometimes you just need to take a break and come back again.
Yeah. I've a coding class, and I just started learning some more CSS.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like when you're doing coding, right? It's like sometimes you're hitting your head against the wall, and then you take a break, come back. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I have a record of literally hitting my head against the wall when I try coding.
Yeah, you just need.
And that's why I'm on narcotic medication. And that's why I'm actually on narcotic grade medication.
Yeah.
So it's just
try not to hurt yourself, bro.
Yeah. Whatever gets you to not hurt yourself. Yeah.
It's gonna be harder to do that if you damage your brain.
Yeah. Well, that's